Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering, your home for real nuts and bolts guitar learning. And today we're talking about seventh chords. We're in the middle of a series that we've covered major scales and intervals and key signatures. If you get lost when folks are talking about anything music theory-wise, then you've come to the right place. So today we're going to be talking about seventh chords. We've talked about one-note concepts with scales, two-note concepts with intervals, and three-note concepts with triads, and now we're to four-note concepts with seventh chords. There is a PDF that goes along for this lesson. You can download it at the link below. And we're going to be talking about seventh chords and maybe even a little bit more. So if you've got your guitar and that PDF, then let's go ahead and learn a little bit about seventh chords and how these work. All right. If you'll remember back, way back to last time, we talked about a C major scale. We have a C major scale. And so as you're looking at that scale, you have the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it comes up to the octave there. Okay, so we're going to pull a few notes out of that scale. Last time we did triads, and we pulled out the first, the third, and the fifth, and we kind of messed around with those. Now we're going to take another leap, and we're going to add another third on top of that. So we're going to be dealing with a set of notes that's now four notes. The first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh step of the major scale. So if we take a look at a C major scale, and you look at the notes that are on the screen there involved with that, then we're going to take the next one, and that's going to be a major seventh. So this is going to be the 1, 3, 5, and 7. All right, so here's the deal. There's a rule. All right, here's the rule. It's always going to be, in the chord formula, a flatted seventh unless it says the magic word major in the chord name. The magic word major in the chord name. So everything else, except for one exception that we'll get to in a little bit, but everything else is going to be a flatted seventh. That's the only rule you need to remember. It's always going to be a flatted seventh in the chord formula, except when it says the magic word, and the magic word is major in the chord form. So if I have let's say a C major seventh chord, then that would just be taking out the first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh step of a C major scale. So a C, E, G, and a B natural. Regular old B, nothing, we're not adjusting, we're not doing a flatted seventh because it said the word major in the chord name. So when you hear the word major in the chord name, you end up, whether it's a C major seventh, a C major ninth, a C major 13th, a C major, doesn't matter. As long as it says the word major in the chord name, you know that it has an unaltered seventh, just a regular old seventh. So a C major seventh would be C, E, G, and a B natural. 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so let's spell another one. Now, a major seventh chord, how it sounds, C, E, G, B. It's a very pretty sounding chord. We use major sevenths a lot in jazz. If I voice it a little bit differently, it sounds like that. If I voice it a little bit differently, it sounds like that. Maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe here, maybe here. Any way that I can combine those four notes, we can make a major seventh chord. Now, here's another little concept. You've only got 6 strings and really 4 fingers on this hand that you can do what you need to do. So occasionally with these more complicated chords that we're going to be getting into, sevenths, ninths, 11ths, 13ths, flat 9, flat 5, you're just going to run out of notes that you can play. So you have to drop some. So we have to keep the important ones and drop the ones that are not doing anything particularly important. Now, so a little rule of thumb with that is you always want to keep the third. You would think you would always want to keep the root, but actually you can get by with dropping the root quite often. If you're in a band situation, bass player, he's playing the root all day long. That's his one job, is to play the root. So you as a guitar player don't necessarily need to duplicate that. You can just play other notes in the chord that are needed. The third is always needed. That tells you whether it's a major or a minor tonality. The seventh, whether it's a flatted seventh or a normal seventh, is important too. So we want to have those two definitely. Now, if there's a color tone, if it says, hey, play a C6th or a C13th, well, then I better specifically put in the chord tone that it's specifically asking for. So you got to have at least those three food groups, okay? The third, whatever the appropriate one is, major or minor. The seventh, whatever the appropriate one is, major or flatted seventh. And then whatever color tone it's asking you for, a ninth, 11th, a 13th, a flat 9, a sharp 9, whatever it is, okay? Other than that, if there's nothing particularly going on fancy with the fifth, you can generally drop the fifth, unless it's like a diminished or augmented and something is being adjusted with that fifth, then that would kind of bump it up in priority. But if there's nothing going on with the fifth, you can generally drop the fifth, and you can drop the root. So there you go. That's some thoughts on that. Okay, now, let's spell a major seventh in some other keys. So if I was in the key of F, all right, you ready? Remember what the key of F has in it? F has one flat in it, a B flat. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Okay, would be the scale if I spell the scale. So now we're going to take out of that scale what chord tones? Well, for a major seventh, it would be 1, 3, 5, and 7. 1, 3, 5, and just a normal 7, because it said the magic word major in its chord name. An F major seventh is what we're trying to spell. Okay, so it would be F would be 1, that's for sure. F, G, A would be the next one, F, A. The fifth would be F, G, A, B flat, C, F, A, C. And the seventh would be an E natural, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E. So we're left with F, A, C, E, which conveniently spells the word face, okay? Hey, let's do another one. Let's do another one, all you music theory experts. Okay, we're going to spell a major seventh in the key of D, a D major seventh. Now, while you're thinking about that, realize that music theory is not about filling out worksheets and doing homework and complicated math and all that sort of stuff. It's not about that. It's about when you look as a player at a chord, like on this page right now, there's lots of different chords. One of them could be a D major seventh. And I don't have to wonder what a D major seventh is. I don't have to consult my Mel Bay guitar book of big book of chords in order to know what a D major seventh is. Hey, this is a D major seventh. Well, yes, that is a D major seventh, but why is that a D major seventh? Because it's got a D and the appropriate chord tones in it. In the key of D, a major seventh, 1, 3, 5, and 7th would be D, F sharp, because we have F sharps and C sharps in the key of D, and then the 5th would be an A, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So it'd be D, F sharp, A, C sharp. Wait a minute, let's check it. This is the D major seventh that we learned in the big chord book. D, F sharp, A, C sharp. Okay, different order, different octaves. Sometimes there'll be 2 of one, 3 of another. Doesn't matter. This is a D major seventh. Let's check. D, A, C sharp, F sharp, A. Okay, and that's how we do it. One more. Hey, let's do the key of E flat major. E flat major. You ready? Here we go. Think it up. The key of E flat has 3 flats in it. B flat, E flat, A flat. Okay, so we're going to spell an E flat scale first. E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat. So an E flat major 7th chord, 1, 3, 5, 7, out of that scale would be an E flat, G, B flat, and D. E flat, G, B flat, D. And you end up with a major 7th chord. So there you go. That's major 7th chords. Let's do another one. Let's do another type. Now we're going to move to What about a minor 7th chord? What do you think a minor 7th chord would be? Well, it's a minor triad. So if we went back to the key of C, that would be a C, E flat, the flatted third, and then the 5th. 1, flat 3, 5, C, E flat, G. Did it say the magic word? No, it did not. So therefore, it is a flatted 7th. So the formula for a C minor 7th, any minor 7th really, would be 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. If I put that formula into the key of C, we end up with a C, E flat, G, and a B flat. Do you see what happened there? When it says minor 7th, that refers to the minor triad with a flatted 7th on it. But when it says major 7th, it's referring to the 7th. The major is referring to the 7th. That's giving you 7th information, not triad information. Okay, so that's what a C minor 7th is. Let's do it in a couple other keys. What about a G minor 7th? If I had to do a G minor 7th with the formula 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, okay, it would be in the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, so the 1, flat 3, G. The third is a B, but we don't need a third. We need the flatted third, so it'd be G flat, or excuse me, B flat, G, B flat. The 5th would be a D. The 7th would be flatted because it didn't say the magic word. So it'd be a G, B flat, D, and then an F. G, B flat, D, F. G, B flat, D, F. Okay? Now, some of you might be tempted to think, oh, that's an F flat. No, no, no. Remember, in the key of G, we've got F sharp. So you have to always kind of layer that first filter of what's the key signature of what you're trying to solve. In that particular situation, the Fs are sharped normally, but I don't need the normal one. I just need to lower it a half step. So if I lower an F sharp down a half step, it just turns into an F natural. G, B flat, D, F. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Let's do another one. Okay, so if I'm in the key of, I don't know, let's say B flat. B flat. And I'm going to try and find a B flat minor 7th chord. A B flat minor 7th chord. Can you figure it out? In the key of B flat, we've got 2 flats, remember. B flat, if we spell the scale, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. So there's 2 flats, B flat and E flat. Okay. Now if I spelled it up, B flat, the third would be a D, but I don't need the third, I need the flatted third. So it'd be a D flat. Okay, B, D flat, then the 5th would be an F, and then I need the flatted 7th. The normal 7th in the key of B flat would be an A. The flatted 7th would be an A flat. Okay. B flat, D flat, F, A flat. B flat, D flat, F, A flat. There you go. Now, if you're not used to spelling these thirds, don't feel bad. You just need to do it about another 100 times, and then you'll get used to spelling the thirds. So if you're still kind of working towards that, you just need to solve the problem. Why do I know this thing? Why do I automatically, as soon as I see a B flat minor 7th, I know it's a B flat, D flat, F, and an A flat? Because I've solved that problem a gazillion times when I'm looking at a piece of music or, filling it out on a worksheet or something like that. Hey, all right, so that's major 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7. We've done minor 7th, 1, flat 3, 5, 7. Let's do a new type of chord. Now that we've added a 4th note, we get a new type of chord that is introduced, and that's a dominant 7th. Now, you don't see it written, DOM 7, D-O-M 7, but it'll just say the root name and then the 7. F7, C7, G7, E flat 7, C sharp 7, whatever it is. Whatever the root is, and then just a 7. So it doesn't say dom in it. They just dropped the little dominant thing, but it's called a dominant chord. So that's a new type of chord. So it is a major triad, 1, 3, 5. Did it say the magic word? No. So it is a flatted seventh. 1, 3, 5, flatted seventh. So if I put that in the key of C and make a C dominant seventh out of it, a C seventh, it would be a C, E, G, major triad, 1, 3, 5, and then a flatted seventh, B flat, C, E, G, B flat, C, E, G, B flat. Gets kind of a bluesy sound. Okay, major seventh gets a real sweet, happy sound. Minor seventh gets kind of a minor, jazzy, rich sound. Sad, not sad, but rich, darker, richer. Okay, seventh sounds kind of bluesy. C, E, G, B flat. 1, 3, 5, flatted seventh. All right, you ready to practice? Here we go. Let's solve some dominant sevenths, okay? 1, 3, 5, flatted seven. Let's go to, I don't know, the key of F. Give me an F7. What would an F7 be? Okay, so you got to think of the key signature. We've got a B flat in the key of F, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. And I'm looking for the 1, which is the F, the 3, which would be an A, so now we have F and A, the 5th, which would be a B flat, C, F, A, C, and now I need the flatted 7th. The flatted 7th, so it would be E is the 7th, but we don't need the E, we need the flatted 7th, E flat, F, A, C, E flat. Does that sound familiar? What if I add? Okay, right up a 7th arpeggio there. Okay, 1, 3, 5, flatted 7. Let's do another one. Let's do A 7th. A 7th. You ready? What do we have in the key of A? We got 3 sharps. 3 sharps in the key of A. F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Let's spell an A scale. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So that's an A scale. You got to remember, you got to always filter that key signature over the top of it. Now we're going to pull out of that scale the 1, the 3, the 5, and the flatted 7th. Ready? In the key of A, it'd be an A. The 3rd would be a C sharp, because that's what we have in the key signature. The 5th would be an E. And the flatted 7th, the normal 7th would be a G sharp, but we want the flatted 7th, which would be a G natural. A, C sharp, E, G. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that this chord is an A, C sharp, and an E? Let's check. A, E, G, C sharp, E. It's all just A, C sharp, E's, and G's. Okay? All right, so that's a dominant 7th. All right, so we got a few more. Since we've added another note, we had 4 different types of triads. We've got 6 different types of 7th chords. So we've got a few more we got to cover. We've covered major 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7. We've covered minor 7th, 1 flat 3, 5, 7. We've covered dominant 7th now, 1, 3, 5, flatted 7th. Now we're going to cover an augmented 7th. Well, that's an augmented triad, which we learned last week was a 1, 3, and a sharp 5. Did it say the magic word? Nope. So it's a flatted 7th. 1, 3, sharp 5, flatted 7th. So if I was in the key of C, it would be a C, E, G sharp, because that's that sharp 5, and then a B flat. Okay? 1, 3, sharp 5, flatted 7th. C, E, G sharp, and then B flat. Okay? C, E, G sharp, B flat. Let's put it in a different key. Let's say if I was in the key of, I don't know, E, and I wanted an E augmented 7th. Well, it would be the key of E. We have 4 sharps: E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Lots of sharps to keep track of. E, that's the 1. The 3 would be G sharp, E, G sharp. The 5 would be a B, but I don't want a 5. I wanted the sharp 5. A B sharp Hey, but wouldn't that be a C natural? I know it's a C. You know it's a C. Everybody knows it's a C. But in theory land, the name of the note, if you remember, tells its function. So it wouldn't be any kind of a C. That would be some sort of a weird sixth. It's going to be some kind of a B. I don't care how sharp it, double sharp it, flat it, double flat. I don't care how much I have to, vary that one note. It's going to be some kind of a B. E, G sharp, and now a B sharp. Some of you would be asking, we've got a question here, is it okay to mix flats and sharps when making chords? Yes, it's going to come out that way sometimes, where you're going to have a flat this and a sharp that, a double flat this, or a double sharp that, and things are mixing. Now, in a key signature, they're never mixed. You either have a flat keys or sharp keys. But in chords, when we're doing all of these adjustments, occasionally you're going to end up with one of them being flat and the other one being sharp. That's how it works. Okay. So what were we spelling? We were spelling an E augmented, E, G sharp, B sharp, and then a D natural. Okay, because a D sharp is what they normally have. So that would be flatted. So 1, 3, sharp 5, flatted 7th, E, G sharp, B sharp, and then D natural. Okay, there you go. So you got to be careful about spelling them inharmonically. Inharmonically would be B sharp versus C. You can't spell things inharmonically in theory land, in scale land, when you're spelling chords. It has to do with the name tells its function. So it's going to be some kind of a whatever that name is, okay? All right, so that's augmented seventh. So we've covered major seventh. We've covered 4 of our 6 types. Major seventh, 1, 3, 5, 7. Minor seventh, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Dominant seventh, 1, 3, 5, major triad, and then a flatted seventh, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Augmented seventh, 1, 3, sharp 5, an augmented triad with a flatted 7. Remember our rule? Everything is going to be a flatted 7th unless it says the magic word major in its chord name. Major 7th, major 9th, major 13th, okay? So when you hear the word major, that's talking about the 7th, not the quality of the triad. Okay, let's learn another one. Let's learn with these new chords, we're going to enter into one of our chords, our diminished triad. Now with the addition of a new note to it, kind of splits. And so we end up having 2 diminished versions. The first one is called a half-diminished. Half-diminished. Sometimes you'll see that written in music as half/dim. If it's in a jazz notation where a diminished is used as a circle, is illustrated with a circle, a half-diminished would be a circle with a slash through it. Okay, so you'll sometimes see that. Half-diminished. So what is a half-diminished? Well, it is a diminished triad, 1, flat 3, flat 5. And then did it say the magic word? No. So it's 1, flat 3, flat 5, and a flatted 7th. 1, flat 3, flat 5, and a flatted 7th. Okay, so if I was in the key of C and I wanted a C half-diminished 7th, it would be C, E flat, the 3rd flatted, G flat, the 5th flatted, and B flat, the 7th flatted. C, E flat, G flat, B flat. That would be a half-diminished 7th. C, E flat, G flat, B flat. Okay? All right, we're getting into a lot of, we're getting deep now. You ready? We're out of the baby pool. We're into some stuff now. All right, so just hang on. We've been preparing you for 4 weeks to get a little bit deeper into this, and now we're starting to dip our feet into it. All right, so a half-diminished is 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. So let's do it in a couple other keys. If I was in the key of G, a G half-diminished would be G, B flat, okay, 3rd flat, the 5th flat, which would be a D flat in the key of G, B flat, D flat we have so far, and then a flatted 7th. Well, in the key of G, we have F sharps, so if I flatted that, it would just be an F. So G, B flat, D flat, F would be a half diminished. You use those a lot in jazz. Okay? G, B flat, D flat, and F. Now, okay, occasionally you're going to run across some funkiness. Hey, let's solve a, oh, I don't know, B flat. A B flat half diminished. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I got a B flat. Then the flatted third would be a D, but flatted, D flat, B flat, D flat. Then the fifth flatted, which would be an F flat, B flat, D flat, F flat. I know that's an E. Don't enharmonically give me an E. It's got to be an F flat. We're in theory land. And then the seventh flat, A flat, B flat, D flat, F flat, A flat. You may be thinking, hey, I can't calculate that fast. That's okay. That's okay. We're pretty deep in theory land at this point. But I just want you to understand what the concept is. Even if you have to refer back, if ever you need to spell one of these, what notes are in it. Okay? Now, occasionally, let's solve another one. E flat. Let's do an E flat half diminished. Well, occasionally you're going to end up with some strange notes like here. An E flat half diminished would be E flat. Then the third would be a G, but it's flatted. E flat, G flat. The fifth is a B flat, but I don't need the fifth. I need to flat the fifth. Well, how do I flat an already flatted note? Remember last week we talked about the concept of double flats. The fifth in the key of E flat is a B flat, but I need that flatted, so I'm going to do a B double flat. Oh, you're blowing my mind. A double flats. Yes, occasionally, rarely, you are going to have double flats and double sharps sometimes. Okay? Don't let that freak you out. Don't let that freak you out. So an E flat half diminished would be an E flat, G flat, B double flat, and then a D flat. Okay? So I know a B double flat is an A. You know it's an A. Everybody knows it's an A. Theory land, I got to say B double flat. If I'm spelling the fifth in the key of E flat, it's going to be some kind of a B. It's not going to be any kind of a A. That's a fourth. Or any kind of a C. That's a sixth. It's going to be some kind of a B. No matter how bad I have to adjust it to get double flats or whatever. All right. That's half diminished. Let's talk about the odd uncle in the room. You ready? The odd one out. We've finally gotten down to the last of our 6 versions of seventh chords, and it's an odd one. It's an anomaly. It's an odd thing. It's called a fully diminished seventh. You ready? Hang on to your hats. It's a 1, a flat 3, a flat 5, diminished triad, and prepare for your mind to be blown, a doubly flatted seventh. A doubly flatted seventh. I know, it's crazy, it's terrible. I don't know why it's that way. Don't even bother asking me, I don't know. 1, flat 3, flat 5, and a double flatted seventh. So if I'm in the key of C, oh, this is painful. It would be a C, 3 flat, E flat, okay, C, E flat, 5 flat, G flat, C, E flat, G flat, a diminished triad, nothing special there. But then a doubly flatted seventh. The seventh would be a B, and a doubly flatted seventh would be a B double flat. Don't say A. I know it's an A, you know it's an A. It's going to be a B double flat in theory land. C, E flat, G flat, B double flat. That is a fully diminished chord. What is so special and unique about that chord? The distance from a C to an E flat, that first interval is a minor third, a step and a half, 3 half steps. The distance from an E flat to a G flat is 3 half steps. The distance from a G flat to a B double flat, which is an A, is 3 half steps. Are you seeing a pattern here? The distance from a B double flat to the octave, C, is 3 half steps. It's a musical repeating number. I can move all the same, since all of the intervals are the same, I can move the same shape, just 3 frets either direction, and I've got the same chord. I don't have to learn all these different inversions. Remember how we learned all these triad inversions? I don't have to learn all those. Not for diminished chords. It's all the same. Okay? It's a musical repeating number. It's different from the others. So the others are major 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7, minor 7th, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, dominant 7th, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, augmented 7, 1, 3, sharp 5, flatted 7th, half diminished, 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, and now this odd uncle there, 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flatted 7th. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Now, as you as a guitar player, you're probably never going to see, or rarely you might see in your whole playing, as an amateur guitarist, you're probably not going to see double flats, double sharps, things like that. If you were playing second viola for the Chicago Symphony, you would see those quite a bit. Occasionally, you would run across those. But as an average guitar player, we're not going to run across that. But the diminished, understanding what that concept is and how that repeats every 3 frets creates a lot of fun things that you can do. Hey! Okay, remember all those little, banjo players with the little garters on their arms and... Okay, diminished chords. What good is a diminished chord? Diminished chords are great for connecting different chords. If I want to go from a C major 7th to a D minor 7th, I can throw a diminished chord in between them. C major 7th, C sharp diminished, D minor 7th. What if I wanted to go up to E minor 7th? Then I can throw a little diminished chord between those two. C sharp diminished, D minor 7th, D sharp diminished. They're just like conjunctions. They work good for connecting things, okay? So there are your 6 types of 7th chords. Major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th, augmented 7th, half diminished, fully diminished. Oh my goodness. Take a deep breath. That is as complicated as it's going to get. You have reached the pinnacle of complexity. But Steve, what about 11ths and 13ths and sharp 9s and flat 9s and all that sort of stuff? It actually gets simpler. Once we get to 9ths, it gets simpler. 11ths gets even simpler. 13ths, it starts narrowing. So the most types of variations that there are is with this 7th class of chords. Now, I want to talk to you about one more concept. I forgot to mention this in the triad, so we actually ended up covering it in the triads workout. The idea of harmonizing a major scale, okay? So remember in triads, we talked about a harmonized major scale. If I took a major scale and I put stacked triads on top of that, okay, we've got a graphic for that. If I stacked triads on top of a major scale, I've got a harmonized major scale. And if you look at that graphic, it may be on the next line down there, producer, for the pulling up those. Okay, so we got the triad, and if I did just stack the thirds in triads over a major scale, I end up with a specific pattern of chords, okay? A specific pattern of chords. That's all staying in the same key. So if I'm in the key of C and I just stack triads, I end up with a specific combination of chords. The 1 chord ends up being a major triad. The 2 chord ends up being a minor triad. The chord built off of the 3rd step of the major scale ends up being a minor triad. The one on the 4th step becomes a major triad. The 5th step ends up being a major triad. The 6th step ends up being a minor triad. The 7th, the chord built, if I stack thirds in the key on the 7th step of the scale, it ends up being this odd one, diminished. Okay, so just look at that for a second. If I did that in the key of C, and it's true in any key that you put it in, that pattern of chords, 1 is major, 2, 3, and 6 end up being minor. 1, 4, and 5 end up being major. and the 7 ends up being this diminished. So we end up, that's why when I'm playing in the key of C, I play a lot of F majors and G majors and C. I don't play F minors. It just, or G minors. It just doesn't work, okay? I end up with a lot of F majors and G majors, but I do end up with quite a few A minors because the 6th step is minor. So just kind of look at that pattern. 1, 4, and 5 are major. 2, 3, and 6 end up being minor triads. 7 ends up being diminished. Well, what happens when I add a 4th note? I stack another 3rd on top of that. What happens with that? Well, let's see. Let's see. If you look at the next image there, I stacked another 3rd on top of that, and we end up with, let's see what we ended up with. We ended up with the 1 becoming a major 7th chord, 1, 3, 5, 7. The 2 ends up being a minor 7th chord. The 3 ends up being a minor 7th chord. The 4 ends up being a major 7th chord. And the 5, wait a minute, that was major, but now it turns into a different type of chord. There's our dominant chord. So right now, up until this point in triad land, 1, 4, and 5, they all played together in the major part of the triad playground. But as they grow up, as they get a little bit older and add another 3rd to them, the 5th starts going a unique direction. 1 and 4 remain major 7ths. 5th ends up being this thing that is only occurs on that one step, a dominant 7th. Okay, that's why 5 7s are so important. They're so unique to a key. There's 3 different minor 7ths. There's 2 different major 7ths, but there's only 1 dominant 7th and 1 half-diminished 7th there if I built it up on the 7th step. So take a look at what we came up with there. The 1 and the 4 end up being major 7ths. 2, 3, and 6 end up being minor 7ths. But 5 became what it is fully meant to be, a dominant 7th chord. Ended up being a different thing. Now that pattern is true in any key. If I was playing in the key of G, it would still be, now it would be a G major 7th, and an A minor 7th, and a B minor 7th, and a C major 7th, but a D 7th, D dominant 7th, E minor 7th, F sharp half diminished. All right, so see how that works. Now, for 95% of music, that's how that works. In jazz especially, that's how that works. Now, occasionally in different styles, like in the blues, you're going to see dominant 7th used on all the chords. They'll just put a flatted 7th on all the chords because it gets that bluesy sound. F7, C7, G7, F7, C7, G7. They just throw 7ths on everything, give it that bluesy sound. But in jazz, swing, that sort of stuff, major 7th, minor 7th, another minor 7th, major 7th, dominant 7th, and a major 7th. So it works that way. Blues is kind of a different genre in those sorts of chord notations. All right, so that's some very important stuff. Now, armed with that information, are you ready? We're in the bonus round here. Can you just hang on? 2 minutes. We're in the bonus round. All right, so if I'm in the key of C, and I want the 3 chord, the chord built off of the 3rd step in the key of C. It would be a 3. Is it major or minor? It would be minor. Is it what kind of 7th? It would be a minor 7th. So I'm trying to spell in the key of C, C, D, E, the E minor 7th chord. So the 3 chord in the key of C would be an E, G, B, and a D. Now, I know I jumped about 7 levels of theory right there. All right, so just hang on. Let's do another one. If I'm in the key of, B flat, and I wanted to know what's the 4 chord in the key of B flat. Okay, well, first I got to find the 4th note, B flat, C, D, E flat, Is it major or minor? 4s are major. What kind of 7th is it? It's a major 7th, so a 4 major 7th would be an E flat, major 7th. Now I got to spell it. E flat, G, B flat, and D. Always remember, when you're spelling a chord, don't matter what key we originally started in, once I find that E flat, and I know it's supposed to be a major 7th, I can analyze it above that E flat. So I just think of it temporarily in the key of E flat, G, B flat, and D. All right, there you go. Hey, great work, everybody. I've given you some worksheets on that. If you look at the first page of the 7th chords, I give you a little box in the middle of the page that just outlines all those different types of chords and the abbreviations for them, okay? Major 7th, you're going to see that abbreviated as an MAJ 7. Sometimes in jazz, which we use as symbols a lot, you're going to see a triangle 7, okay, in jazz. For a minor 7th, you're going to see that as an MIN sometimes, or a little lowercase m, CM7, GM7, something like that. In jazz, with our symbols, it's going to be a minus sign, G or C minus sign 7, okay? What do we have next? The dominant 7th, that's just the letter name and then the number 7, C7, G7, F7. Okay, augmented 7th, that's going to be, you'll see that notated as AUG 7, sometimes a plus, if I'm in jazz, a plus 7, okay, C plus 7. A half-diminished we talked about as a circle, which is the symbol for diminished, but with a slash through it, okay? Now sometimes you'll see circle with a slash through it and a 7, which is actually kind of redundant, because as soon as you see the circle with a slash through it, it's already a half-diminished, which would be a 4-note 7th chord, okay? And fully diminished would just be a full circle, okay? I've given you a worksheet down there that you can fill out, and then the next page after that, it says 7th chords by key, so I just put these in various keys, and you have to solve them, okay? And then I give you a few more keys for you to solve them. There you go. There's a chord one after that says 7th chords worksheet. It's just solving. I'm just giving you the symbol now for the chord, and you have to spell it. I know that's a lot of calculating going on. I know it's tough. If you haven't done it before, I know it's tough. Okay? The payoff is huge. The payoff is really big. Okay? So invest some time in your musicianship, in your craft, okay? To spend some time, spend a week doing some worksheets, one every day. It's going to take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Do one in the morning, one at night. Learn this. By next time this week, you'd have it down pat for the rest of your life. You'll never wonder what an F augmented 7th is for the rest of your life. So spend some time doing that. Invest in your music. It's important, okay? Not just for theory, but for your own, when you're trying to solo. Steve, what notes do I need to solo over a C minor 7th? Well, I know I can always hit a C, an E flat, a G, and a B flat, because those are the chord tones. Even if I just went... all I'm doing is playing the chord tones. C, E flat, G, B flat. What was all that? Chord tones. I don't know. I wasn't playing some fancy scale. I wasn't doing some pentatonic lick that I learned out of the back of some magazine. I was doing chord tones because I was thinking. I knew a few things. I knew a nickel's worth of music theory, and I knew what notes. I didn't hope what notes were right. I knew what notes were right. C, E flat, G, B flat. How did I know that? Because I'm a musical genius? No, because I've done these stupid worksheets a gazillion times to where I never have to wonder what notes are in a C minor 7th. It's a C, E flat, and a G, B flat every time. As long as I stand on those notes, I'll never play a wrong note. So the payoff is really big. Later on in those worksheets, you'll get into 9th chords and beyond. We're going to do that next week. I was going to try and squeeze that in for this week, but I just ran out of time. So we're going to do that next week. Now, next time, we've got a workout, and we're just going to work out. We're going to spell these, we're going to play them, and we're going to apply these to our guitar. So stick around for our workout for our next session, and we will do that. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for GuitarGathering.com. Keep up the great work in your learning. Your music matters. Don't believe that little voice in your head that says it doesn't matter that you're playing music. Playing music is it's our little way of sticking it to this hard and crusty world by making music, making this world a better place. Keep up the great work. Have a great day.